Bueno, pues muy buenos días y bienvenidos a la Casa de los Empresarios, vuestra casa, ¿no? Hace poco que empezamos a retomar las actividades de carácter presencial, pero hoy sin duda es un día importante, un día donde vamos a hablar de empresas, pero sobre todo empresas con futuro, con proyectos, con ganas de crecer y con ambición, ¿no? Quiero dar la bienvenida al secretario general de Empresa, Innovación y Emprendimiento. Son tres apellidos que llevas hoy que van a estar a lo largo de la jornada, yo creo que en boca de todos nosotros, ¿no? A Pablo Cortés, también a la directora de la Unidad de Acceso a la Financiación de la Dirección General de Crecimiento de la Comisión Europea, Astrid Bartel, que va a estar por videoconferencia y a continuación de mis palabras pues intervendrá. Y también al profesor de Emprendimiento del IES, Mathieu Carenzo, que luego también tendremos la oportunidad de escucharles, pero sobre todo dar la bienvenida a los inversores y, como no, muy especialmente a los que sois hoy protagonistas, los empresarios que tenéis ambición, tenéis proyectos y sobre todo tenéis ganas de seguir creciendo y apostando por esta tierra, por Andalucía. Esta cita se desarrolla en el marco del proyecto CSEAM. Es un proyecto que se desarrolla en Andalucía de la mano de la Agencia de Innovación y Desarrollo de Andalucía, la Agencia del Conocimiento, el Consejo Andaluz de Cámara y la participación también de la Confederación de Empresarios de Andalucía, y cuenta con el apoyo financiero de la Comisión Europea. Formamos parte de una red europea de apoyo a las empresas que participan más de 600 entidades de carácter público y privado, y el objetivo es ofrecer servicios de carácter profesionalizado sobre lo que es la Unión Europea, sobre lo que son los accesos a la financiación necesarias para las empresas en el ámbito de la Comisión Europea y sobre todo de los distintos programas que maneja la Unión Europea dirigidas a las empresas. Este foro, como he dicho, forma parte de esta iniciativa y hoy vamos a tener la oportunidad de conocer los proyectos de crecimiento y desarrollo de 8 empresas andaluzas, 8 empresas ya con unos modelos de negocio consolidados, testados, probados, y lo que tienen ahora por delante es el reto de la dimensión, el reto del crecimiento, con lo cual animaros a estas 8 empresas y a otras muchas más empresas que están por venir, que acometáis proyectos de crecimiento, que yo creo que es donde está el reto de las empresas andaluzas y el futuro de nuestra tierra. Nuestra comunidad Andalucía está ahora mismo en un proceso de transformación. Yo creo que estamos empezando a encabezar los ratings de una serie de factores muy importantes para el desarrollo de nuestra tierra. Estamos ocupando los primeros puestos en materia de creación de empresas, de constitución de autónomos, también de inversión extranjera en las distintas comunidades autónomas, y también estamos encabezando los ratings nacionales en materia de exportación, lo cual son datos que apuntan a que Andalucía está empezando a ser un referente en cuanto a lo que es la creación de empresas, pero seguimos teniendo retos importantes, retos que están ahí, tenemos que afrontar, y uno de ellos es la dimensión y el crecimiento de las empresas y sobre todo tener las empresas más y mejor posicionadas en un mercado internacional. En definitiva, en nuestra comunidad siguen haciendo falta más y mejores empresas, y esperamos y confiamos que los proyectos que hoy se van a presentar, cada una de las 8 empresas que van a pasar por este estrado y nos van a poder presentar sus proyectos de crecimiento, pues acometan con éxito este reto que tienen por delante. Yo, sin más, mi cometido era dar la bienvenida, sobre todo desearos suerte a las empresas que vais a participar, no solo en el día de hoy para que podáis daros a conocer con los distintos fondos de inversión que hoy nos acompañan, sino suerte y éxito en un futuro, que yo creo que es el objetivo que compartís todas vosotras. Y a los fondos de inversión que nos acompañáis, sobre todo pediros que apostéis por Andalucía, que apostéis por las empresas andaluzas que son caballo ganador en un futuro. Yo, sin más, dar la palabra a Astrid Bartels la directora de Unidad de Acceso a la Financiación de la Dirección General de Crecimiento de la Comisión Europea, que nos va a dirigir también en nombre de esta Dirección General unas palabras. Muchísimas gracias a todos.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very honored to speak to you today on this very important event and for giving me the opportunity to provide you with the EU perspective regarding the scaling up of companies. We all know that access to finance in the form of external debt or equity capital is very important for companies so that they can grow and scale. For quite some time, the EU has been working together with Spain and other member states to improve access to finance by mobilizing loans and venture capital for the benefit of SMEs. We do this through our implementing partner, the European Investment Fund in Luxembourg, which publishes regularly calls for expression of interest so that financial institutions from across the EU can apply. Especially in the area of SME and entrepreneurial finance, we work on a so-called intermediated basis. It means that the European Investment Fund in Luxembourg invests in venture and private equity funds that then in turn invest in Spanish companies. Alternatively, the EIF can provide guarantees to financial intermediaries here in Spain, like banks and leasing companies, guarantee societies, and therefore these institutions can then share part of the risk with the EIF and therefore can afford to invest into the more risky SME segment. Today, businesses can apply for finance supported by the EU directly at over 150 financial institutions in Spain. And I would like to thank the Spanish authorities and the local financial community for the good cooperation and their help in mobilizing private and public investments supported by the EU in Spain. Just as an example, this month, the EIF signed another agreement with Banca March under the European Guarantee Fund. This agreement should help to mobilize 300 million in new finance at favorable conditions for SMEs across Spain. And our statistics show that in the period 2014 to 2020, central EU financial instruments helped to mobilize 21 billion in additional investments in Spain, thereby supporting more than 200,000 businesses. And out of these 200,000 businesses, 28,000 were located in Andalusia. The European Commission is planning to continue its strong support for SMEs. The EU's long-term budget and its recovery package, Next Generation EU, are specifically tailored to provide the necessary financial firepower to support the green and digital transition. We are preparing the launch of InvestEU. InvestEU is our flagship investment program with which we hope to leverage more than 370 billion investments in the EU economy over the next 7 years. Investments in and financial support for SMEs is an integral part of this program. In the area of SME financing, we want to support the transition of SMEs to digitalization and sustainability. We want to support innovation and the creation of a pan-European venture capital market. For this purpose, the EIF will receive a mandate from the European Commission to invest into venture and private equity funds that support this transition. We will also mandate the EIF to support funds which co-invest with business angels, and we want to push for more gender-smart investments, because today, only very little venture funding has flown to female-led funds, and this needs to change. We also plan to launch a new IPO initiative to allow investing into funds that will target SMEs at the IPO stage to help supporting the transition of SMEs from the private to the public market. Discussions on the new mandate with the EIF are well advanced. We expect to conclude our negotiations still this year, so that in early 2022, the EIF can publish the calls for the new funding period, and financial intermediaries, including those from Spain, can apply for funding. The EIC, the European Innovation Council, is another funding instrument with opportunities for both equity investors and startups in Europe. The EIC has a budget over 10 million to identify, develop, and scale up breakthrough technologies and disruptive innovations in Europe. The EIC fund is the largest VC deep tech investor in Europe. It offers blended finance, both grants up to 2.5 million and equity investments up to 15 million. Investors can apply to become an investment partner of the EIC. And investors will then have the possibility to invest in future breakthrough innovation together with the European Innovation Council. The EIC fund provides risk sharing and patient capital. Let me conclude by emphasizing that in order to be successful, we all need to work together. I count on your help to ensure good uptake of the new EU financing programs in Spain. Your support in this regard is very appreciated. We have to start walking the talk, help our businesses transition towards green, digital, and sustainable future. And it will not be without challenges. But if we all engage in a partnership fashion, I'm convinced that we will succeed. Thank you very much.
Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the third International Investment Forum Scale Up Andalusia. First, I would like to thank the investors coming from different parts of Europe attending either on-site or online. The partners of the Enterprise Europe Network in Andalusia, CCAN, which are the Agency of Innovation and Development of Andalucía, Agencia IDEA, the Andalusian Agency of Knowledge, Agencia Andaluza del Conocimiento, the Confederation of Employers and Industries of Andalusia, and the Andalusia Council of Chambers of Commerce, for the design and implementation of the Scale-Up program. And of course, to the entrepreneurs and the Scale-Up owners who have actively participated in the Scale-Up program of those other participants, startups, and stakeholders who join us today. As previously has been mentioned, the European Commission helps through the Enterprise Europe Network Business, Innovate and Grow of an international scale. It is the world's largest support network for small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, with international ambitions. The network is active in more than 60 countries worldwide, and it brings together 3,000 experts from more than 600 members organizations, all renowned for their excellence in business support. Financed by the European Union's Program for the Competitiveness of SMEs, Program COSME, the Enterprise Europe Network has become the ideal framework to launch during the last years 3 specific programs to encourage young innovative SMEs to carry out cross-border operations and make use of the possibilities offered by the single market. We named those programs Scale Up Andalusia. The general objective of the Scale Up Andalusia 2021 is to help young and innovative companies expand the geographical scope of their activities from a local or regional market to the European single market by providing specialized services with a European dimension. To achieve this objective, we opened the third call last May to identify 10 Andalusian companies with high potential to scale up in Europe, which are currently receiving the services adapted to their specific needs. Indeed, the first benefit in the program are acquiring knowledge, skills, and the necessary tools to replicate their business models in the European single market. For this, CCAN provides specialized services with a European dimension, such as mentoring, coaching, and advisory services in access to finance, access to markets, and international cooperation, as well as international property and technology watch. Why an investment forum today? The forum represents another step within the program with the objective to promote and facilitate investments in selected firms, facilitating contacts with financial providers such as venture capital funds, business angels, corporate venturing, and public funds. We also look forward to other benefits of this type of events, like the exchange of experience between firms, the awareness raising of European Union and regional strategies, and the promotion of investment opportunities in Andalusia. Scale Up Andalusia is definitely contributing to the objectives of the recently approved General Plan of Entrepreneurship of Andalusia 2021-2027, which emphasizes the international scale-up phase of the business creation cycle, complementing successful programs like Startup Andalusia Roadshow. Additionally, we have launched 3 new venture capital funds with a global amount larger than 50 million euros, co-financed with ERDF funds that are invigorating our regional ecosystem. I am happy to see that the 3 venture capital firms that successfully invited are with us today. But today's investment forum is not an isolated event within the activities of CCANT. Actually, next Tuesday, December the 2, Agencia IDEA is organizing in collaboration with the European Business Angel Network and Houston Angel Network the first Space Investment Forum with the participation of 9 space startups based in Andalusia. And many investors from the United States and Europe. IDEA is also coordinating the second international open call for deep tech and deep science startups that will be held in Transfiere in Malaga next February. Finally, I am happy to announce that the proposal for the period 2022-2025 of the Andalusian Consortium CCAN has been recently approved by the European Commission. This will allow us to design and implement specialized support programs such as Deep Tech Andalusia, a program on corporate venturing and open innovation, and programs on verticals like the New Space. With all these initiatives, the Regional Ministry of Economic Transformation aims to support our companies on their way of scaling up, thus contributing to the employment, prosperity, and innovation in our region. I hope that this event that brings us together today will benefit of all of us. Thank you very much and welcome to the meeting.
Thank you very much for the warm institutional welcome. Before jumping to the keynote speak, we are going to make a picture with Luis and Pablo and the persons from the companies that we are going to do the pitch. So we are going to put all together here. So the picture and then we continue. Okay. Thank you very much.
Quizás en la pantalla ella.
Bueno, vamos.
Our official photographer.
One moment.
Thank you, everybody. So now it's the turn of Mathieu Carenso. Mathieu is a business angel, is an entrepreneur and professor of entrepreneurship in IESE. And also we are lucky to have him also in the dry run the other days, helping our companies to pitch today. So thank you, Mathieu, for coming. Maybe, and you have 20 minutes, so
20 minutes?
or
25, 20?
Yeah, 25. Perfect.
Okay.
So here's your...
Thank you, Stefan. Is it working? Yes. All right. Before I start, I want to do a comment to all the entrepreneurs, because I didn't have the time to do it in the dry run. The hard work is not to give you feedback and tell you how you should do that better or worse. The hard work is what you're doing. It's building the company from scratch and trying to make it scale. So I know when I do dry run, I'm tough and I'm hard, but it's because it's easy. Before I start that whole scale-up reflection, I want to really share with you the importance of the entrepreneurs and the importance of building innovative companies. When I arrived in Spain in 2004, I think that you could count VC funds on one hand. And I do remember one thing. We had one business angel network in the whole country. Now, I don't know, probably we are over 100. So that's very good. That's a great sign. And by the way, all the entrepreneurs that I see, you are 10 times better than 15 or 20 years ago. So that's good. But on the other side, there are other signs that are not as good. And there is one proxy that I always use to try to understand how innovative we are as a country. It's IBEX 35. So if you look at the IBEX when I arrived in Spain almost 20 years ago, and you look at today, it's the same. It's the same. If you look at the top 40 capitalization in very innovative country, it's not the same. And this is a sign of the situation we are in. From the ground, we have more entrepreneurs. From the ground, we have more investors, but still, we have a big gap to catch. This is called the equity gap. And this is our next challenge. Now, before I share with you the three biggest challenges I believe we have to go through and we have to overcome to really build an ecosystem of scale-ups, I want to show you a few numbers that kind of to start nicely. So, first, those last 6 years, this is evolution basically on investment in new ventures on a global scale. So we are growing. And what's interesting in that specific trend, it's not just that we're growing, it's that we are growing exponentially those last 5 to 6 quarters. So there is a learning here. The learning is, if you would have asked experts in March 2020 on what's going to happen in the VC world, they all told, we're dead. Big issue. There is no growth anymore. We don't know what's going on with that virus. You're going to see all those investments going down. It's exactly the other way. So if there is one learning when it comes to anticipating what's going to happen in the market, it's humbleness. We don't know how it's going to be the future. That said, what we can see is that there are a lot of new rounds and big rounds. So we should ask ourselves why. Valuations are going up. And the fundamental reason why basically we're in that situation is because the other alternative ways to invest are not as attractive as they used to be. I mean, there is no reason why big private equity would start to invest in startups if the alternative investments they have, and they have that for 20, 30, 50 years, would basically not be as attractive as before. So the big reason why we have more money, more liquidity, is because the interest rates are very low on a global scale. So it's going a bit up lately, but still. Startups and scale-ups, when you don't know that market, it seems to be that it gives great return. It's a lie. I mean, if you want to lose money, invest in startups. And I can tell you that because I've been investing in startups for the last 20 years. As an asset class, startup is not attractive in terms of return. It's only attractive when you invest in the top quartile, if you invest in those 20-25% that really generates return. So the fundamental question we should ask ourselves is, how can we structure investments? How can we structure the way we select startups so that we invest in those 20-25%? So I gave you some information on why basically we have this surge of what we call growth funds. Growth funds, those are funds of 200, 300 millions that 10 or 15 years ago in Spain we would not even think in building such funds, not even in Europe. And now, every week, a new one. And it's not because money is coming from the ground up, it's because private equities and big institutional investors are going down the curve to invest in startups to kind of catch that growth that they usually don't catch. And that's great, because that means more money for startups, and if there is more money for startups, there are more scale-ups. And if we have more scale-up, there is a positive correlation with more jobs and more value creation. All that is great. By the way, let's see at the Spanish numbers. Big growth. And by the way, 5 years ago, those famous unicorns, we didn't have any. We have unicorns now. We have Cabify, we have Globo, we have Flywire. We do have companies that we can say are successful, sustainable scale-ups. And that's very important. Why? Basically, because it generates an ecosystem. And we have other unicorns on their way. If we have unicorns on their way, it means that today we already have scale-ups. And as you can see here, again and again, exponential growth when it comes to liquidity to invest in startup. We'll see how much time it lasts. But let's enjoy our golden era. During those last 15 years, the biggest issue for startups in Spain was the lack of investment. Now we have it. So we need to really capitalize on that and leverage. Now, what am I telling you all that? Because what I do in the morning is teaching entrepreneurship, but what I do in the afternoon is invest in startups. And I think that within the whole ecosystem of startups, that's the easiest part, because it's deploying cash. Now, it's quite easy to invest wrongly. What I want to share with you is how we can invest wisely, and how we can build an understanding between startups and investors. I think that one of the biggest issues we have is we don't speak the same language. It's a question of vocabulary. It's a question of transparency. It's a question of understanding from the entrepreneurial point of view, what are the expectations of the investors, and from the investors, understanding the need of the entrepreneurs. And this will only come if we hire the knowledge, the understanding, the knowledge of the entrepreneurs of the financial ecosystem, and the other way. And this we will match companies that will have future. So if I have time, I'll give you a little, I don't think I will have time to discuss the portfolio, but if you want to know more on my investments and what I do in terms of startup investment, you just Google me, you will find it. Now, the truth is, only 6% of the startup will scale. Why? Basically because most of them will start strong. The initial start, it's not the most difficult part. But most of the startup will stop. So why is that? Why most of the startups are not scaling? Well, basically because this is either you like Schumpeterian or Darwinian, this is logic. I mean, not all companies are successful. By the way, if you look at statistics, what you will see is that I think that the last time I looked at it, in Spain, 54% of the companies created will not survive more than 5 years. And this is kind of a number that you will find it not just in Spain or Andalusia. We'll see you with that in France, in UK, wherever you go. Now, the question here is, why is that? And how, as entrepreneurs, you can spot the reason why you cannot scale. And from the investor's point of view, how can we find the right one and finance the companies that are able to scale? So what are the fundamental reasons why companies don't scale? I think there are three. First is customer acquisition. Second is the team. Third is access to finance. So let's go one by one. First, customer acquisition. Having an idea is not pursuing a great business opportunity. If there is one big mistake done by startups, it's trying to scale before you even validate the initial point of your value proposition. You don't scale if you're not able to grow. There are three big risks that any startups will face when it starts. The first one is, can you do the product, the service? And by default, can you bring the team that is able to bring that product? Can you sell it? Can you grow it? Those are three consecutive risks that, by the way, you will finance through different vehicles, through different kind of investors. Do not try to scale before you know how the engine works. Okay, you will lose your time and you will basically fail. The point here is step by step. Okay, so the ideas, not being opportunity, need to be validated, and you need to validate it three different ways. You need to have a pilot. Well, minimum viable product, it's just the new name for pilot. So you need pilot, you need a beachhead market, which is basically a market that you can access to and you can interact with. That's the first step, that's the doing. You can build a business. Being able to build a business does not mean it's going to be scalable business. Those are two different concepts. Once you are able to do it, then you need to try to make money with it. And then you grow. And then you come to CVCs and professional business angel to put fuel in the engine that you've already built. One thing that doesn't work, it's to put fuel in an engine which is not validated. Okay, so you scale if you're able to grow. You don't scale before you have proven that you have a business model that you can monetize. That's one of the first reasons companies are not scaling. If you're able to do what I just commented, then what you will have is data, metrics. And investors, the investors that will bring you from startup to scale up, they will not invest in any other thing but metrics. Why? Because historical data give credibility to the future projections. When you project future based on intuition or willingness to grow, it's not enough. So your job as an entrepreneur is to develop metrics that are credible when it comes to project the future. And our job as investor is to analyze that, and if we have the same belief, probably we can do something together. All right, so first is product market fit. You don't scale if you're not sure you have a product market fit set. Second, team. The team is the talent that will be able to generate that growth. And here, it's a long journey. It's a long journey. We are not that many to be able to come with an idea, make it an opportunity, grow the team, scale an IPO. I know I can't. It's very difficult to be able to do all that different phases, and you don't need the same skills. Let me, by the way, did you see that yesterday the founder of Twitter resigned? Jack Dorsey, and he said just that. There's a lot of talk around the importance of a company being founder-led, which is basically we are the founders, and we will grow that company and scale it up to the moon. But the big issue here is that at some point, you are the only one point of failure, and there is an ego trip here that I invite entrepreneurs to really think about. Now, why am I saying that? When you start a company, one of the reasons why sometimes, most of the time, the reason why you're successful is that you are able to adapt to any need of the customers. High flexibility, CapEx very low. There is not that much inertia with the business. You just do whatever is needed to close the deal. And that's the exact reason why you will not be able to scale. Because you don't scale a service, you scale a product. You may call it software as a service, you may call it whatever you want. You may monetize it in different ways, but at the end of the day, it's a product. So you have to be very careful in understanding that what are the skills you've been able to develop to do and develop the initial sales may be the one that will prevent you to grow and scale. And most of us, and me first in my entrepreneurial adventures before I became an investor, I have not been able to do that transition. First. Second, talent. We have a big issue with talent. And it's this case in Spain, in Europe, and Andalusia. Talent is difficult to grab. And the problem with startups on their way to scale up is that we don't pay well, we have no brand, and we don't bring any kind of security. So we are competing with big corporation, other alternatives that brings all that. And so how can we have talent coming our way? So the typical answer will be, los tienes que ilusionar. You have to, to sell them the dream, share with them what you see in the future, your vision, your mission. Yeah, all right. But I don't think it's enough. You need to be generous. You need to be able to share ownership. You will not attract talent in your company if you don't at least share what's going to be maybe an hypothetical future sharing of the results. So I know that we still have a bridge to do in terms of culture in continental Europe when it comes to sharing equity, but that's the only way you're going to bring talent. Because, again, we don't have the brand, we don't have the security, and we don't have the salaries. Then, when you're a real scale-up, when you have the money behind you from VCs, you have 10, 20, 50 millions, then that changes. Because there is one thing that I want to share with you, which is something I really cherish and I love. Lately, talents, they value purpose. In my generation, we did not value purpose. We were valuing salaries. We were valuing the ability to generate capital and security. We didn't really care about the purpose or the values of the company. This has changed. And most of the startups that are able to scale, they have a purpose. And this is a way you can attract talent. By the way, I was just a comment very quickly because I have like 5 more minutes. I was in Toronto 3 weeks ago and talking with people. It was just like 2 or 3 days after Facebook changed its name to Metaverse. And like 4 weeks after, they said, hey, we're going to create 10,000 jobs in Europe to develop Metaverse. Remember that? And then we had a lot of press. Yeah. You know why? You know why Facebook is coming in Europe? because nobody wants to work at Facebook in the US. Because they lost the mojo. We don't understand the purpose anymore. You go to Silicon Valley, and people that are working at Facebook are losers because there is no purpose there. So here, really, as you don't have that, build a strong purpose, and you will be able to attract talent. Now, if there is one thing that I want you to remember from that speech is investors are not investing in sustainable businesses. We are investing in potential high return investments. I don't care if Globo is still in market in 20 years. I care in the fact that a VC or private equity will buy my shares within the next 2 years or 3. So sometimes it's aligned, sometimes it's not. Okay? Investors do not invest in sustainable businesses in 20 years. Why? Because we are looking for return in 5. Okay? So here, when it comes to startups and scale-up, there is one thing, and that's the case in Spain, in Europe, in most places in the world, at the exception of very specific areas like Silicon Valley, although it's changing, maybe Tel Aviv, maybe London when it comes to fintech, there is an imbalance between offer and demand. There is more demand of cash than offer when it comes to the VC environment. So the entrepreneurs are the ones that need to adapt to the needs of the investors, not the other way. So what are the basic criteria that investors are looking for? How do we elevate scale-ups? You have 6 pre-criteria. Market, it has to be big, all right, and accessible. Your job is to show your ability to access this market at a competitive cost of acquisition. Very important. So a market, to be attractive for investors, when it comes to analysis of entrepreneurs, is not just big, it's accessible, all right? Second, competitive advantage. What makes you different? When you're a startup, you don't have competitive advantage. You have differentiation. You have a value prop. On your way up to scale up, you need to build a competitive advantage. It can be in different ways, but the ultimate competitive advantage is brand. Because that allows, and that works in B2C and B2B. Why? Because that allows you to sell at a higher price something that gives the same service as the others. That's the beauty of the brand. You get that? Why is my wife buying bags at 800 euros? Not even, I don't know the word in English. Piel? How would you say that? Leather. It's not even leather. Why do I drive an Audi and not another brand if it gives me exactly the same service? So what brand are you building? As an entrepreneur, is a very important point for investors. Timing, why now? Why should I invest now in your company? Why should I take the risk to put money versus shares of your company now? Why shouldn't I wait? Time is my friend as an investor, and it's your enemy. Why is it your enemy as the entrepreneur? Exactly. If I take time, I will just take a more educated decision. If you take time, you are getting closer to death. So timing is very important, and that's how you need to change the sense of urgency. One of the key of the ability to raise funds and to scale, it's your ability to change the sense of urgency from the entrepreneur to the investor. And I will not have time today to discuss how you can do that, but we can have, I'll be happy to share that later down. Team, I already said what's important with the team. It's the ability to run yourself with the right talent. Most of the times what I see is that the change of management is very important. Your ability to stop doing and to start managing a team of 10, 15, 20, 40, 80 people and select the right people so that you can delegate becomes one of the most important criteria. Scale, it's model-based. Do you have a model that can scale? Do you have a model that when you grow, every new customer generates a higher margin than the previous one? Does that mean that if you don't have a scalable model, you will not be able to generate high growth or in a way scale? No, it means you can, but the valuation of your company will be less. And then the exit. It's very important. It's key. You should never forget that as entrepreneur. The only reason why investors put money in your company is to exit. I will not put money in any startup, in any scale-up, if I don't see a way to get out. It's like a wedding. You know, well, you're kind of young, so you're not married yet. But I'm going to confess you something. When you marry, and you go to the church or the temple, and they ask you, hey, it's for life, you believe it. Then life may change the output. An entrepreneur and investor, we go to church with one goal, divorce. At least from the investor side. And you should know that on the entrepreneur side. Help me, entrepreneurs should help investors understand how they'll be able, at a certain point in the future, to exit. Because this is the only way I'm going to make money. I don't make money with you guys, entrepreneurs, with dividends. I'll do that with the exit. Okay? So, those are 6 points that you should always keep in mind when it comes to understand how you can leverage external money to grow and to scale. Your pitch should say that, although you can craft it in a different way. All right? So, summarizing very quickly, to scale, a company should be viable, of course, it should be feasible, and it comes with time and team, and it should be invertible, and that comes with scale as a model and exit. That's the reason why you don't have that many companies that really are viable, feasible, and invertible. Now, why is that important? Because that's why I told you before. If you think about it, we have everything in Spain. We have everything in Andalusia. Do we have talent? Yes. Is Andalusia attractive for talent coming from other countries? Yes. Do we have universities? Yes. Do we have public support? Yes. So what is the biggest challenge we have? The biggest challenge is the available money to support startups so that they can become scale-up is very low. Spaniards are investing in real estate, in private equity. They don't invest in startups, nor directly, nor through VCs. And this is what we need to change. So you can find a huge amount of excuses like, you know, taxes are high or whatever. But the truth is that the countries that are at the top notch of innovation, name it, US, Singapore, Israel, those countries, people are investing in startups. And this is our challenge. Make sure that in a room like this, next time I come and I ask, hey, who has invested in startups those last 5 years? And when I say startup, when I say scale up, I'm not saying anything related to friends, anything related to family. I think real risk investments in early stage companies. If I do that question now, I don't have the time to do it. I'll have 2 hands up. We need to change that. We need 10 hands up and 20. And in one generation, we will change the pace of that country. And by the way, and very important, this is how we create jobs. There is a very interesting report from the Kaufman Foundation that shows that when you come from the scale-up, this phase between startup and unicorn, the scale-up phase, this is where we have the highest rate of job creation. Direct and indirect. And if there is one challenge we have in Spain and Andalusia, this is that. How we give job to our talents. And we give job to our talents if we bring new companies and innovation. All right, so I want to finish with that. Let's be humble, but let's be ambitious too. Because this is how we're going to be successful and not stay with 6 scale-ups, but go to every year, every trimester, 1 or 2 more scale-up. All right? If you want to know more, just Google me and to finish very quickly, when you have the competitive advantage, the team, the market, it's the right time, you have a scalable model, and you know how to exit, you call me first. Okay? All right, thank you very much.
We have planned, we are going to have a quick round of presentation of the investors. So the idea, if you want, we can start from right-hand side. So Merced, please. So 1 minute, or well, I think we have time. So no, if you want to come here, so just to introduce yourself, your aim, etc., etc. Thank you. And then Hector and so on to finish on this side. Thank you.
Okay, so hello, I'm Merced Tel from Neco Capital. Just a short pitch. So we invest in B2B companies, really in early stage on digital transformation. Applied to several industries where we have better knowledge than other ones, which is on travel industry, anything related to hospitality and tourism, and then prop tech, but again, applied to buildings where you have people traveling. Then on InsurTech, on FinTech, and mobility. So those are the verticals where we have better knowledge and where our portfolio is mainly based. But then anything that could apply to all those industries, like our business processes, or anything that we apply to corporates, that would also be fitting on our strategy. We invest from seed stage up to Series A, so that means tickets that go from 100,000 up to 500,000 in an initial ticket, and going up to $1 million, $1.5 million. We have offices in Barcelona and London, and so we try to help our portfolio of companies on scaling and establishing while internationalizing to other countries. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Hector Alvarez Olivan, Director of Corporate Strategy and Indra Ventures at Indra. We are a global technology company operating in the businesses of IT, defense and security, air traffic management, and mobility. Our annual revenues are above 3 billion euros. And well, we have a strong international presence, especially in Europe and Latin America. Regarding Indra Ventures, we are the corporate venturing unit of Indra, aimed at fostering open innovation and business relationship with startups and scale-ups, of course. Being a technology company, we are strongly interested in the whole spectrum of digital technologies, but also in those deep tech related to hardware and electronics, such as quantum, photonics, and so on. Thank you very much.
morning, I'm Macarena González. I manage the Corporación Bética Expansión Empresarial. It's an Action Partners Group fund. It's an impact fund in Andalusia. We invest in growth, innovative companies, every kind of SaaS, mobility, hardware, software, and so on. We make tickets size 0.5 to 2 million per operations and 3.75 into a company. And we are based here in Seville. We have a company in Madrid, in Mexico, in Turkey, and now from Corporación Bética Expansión Empresarial, we are invested in Andalusia.
Good morning, everyone. This is Ángel Hernández. I am investment director at Alter Capital. Alter Capital is a small private equity firm that has been running for the last 10 years in Andalusia, and the main partner has industry experience of 20 years here directly in Andalusia, investing in all type of companies. Now we have a fund with 15 million to invest from now till 2 years from now. Basically, we do investment. We are looking at operations in any sector. We are not sector specific. We are not specific looking to any sector, and our tickets are from 1 million to 2 million. Actually, the idea of the fund is to have only 7 investee companies, and the focus of the firm, as is more private equity based, is to have somehow a hands-on approach in the companies if we are lead investor. So if you have anything to share later, please come to me. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm Alexandre Grandremier. I'm working for Horizon Partner. It's a new deep tech fund. So we invest in France and in Spain. We invest in seed and Series A startup in deep tech, cyber, security, and blockchain. We also take part operationally in the startups where we invest to accelerate them, go to scale up. Thanks.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Cormac. I'm at Saladay Venture Capital. We invest mainly in seed and Series A or pre-Series A stage Spanish startups. Right now, we've invested in some Andalusia companies such as Twenix in Almeria, Check-in in Sevilla, or Malaga-based Predictiva. Very hopeful to identify new opportunities today. And for the Series B and later on stages, we have our venture debt vehicle, and happy to discuss with any of you guys later. Thank you.
Yo tengo un vídeo de 30 segundos. soy Antonio Romero Pol, soy el fundador de Cherry Ventures, uno de los fondos participados por la Junta de Andalucía, y voy a hablar en español porque tengo que decir 3 cosas en 1 minuto, y si no podría decir una cosa y tardaría 3 minutos o igual 3 horas. La primera que quiero decir es que nosotros invertimos en cosas que sean muy disruptivas, es decir, modelos de negocio que cambian las cosas por 10, no un 10%. La segunda es que nosotros somos industriales y los partícipes del fondo, que son más de 30, son gente que tienen mucha experiencia, muy fuerte y que invierten en paralelo con el fondo. Lo normal es que si el fondo pone uno, los partícipes pongan otro. Y lo tercero es que nosotros invertimos solamente en sitios donde podemos crear valor. Normalmente en B2B o en B2B2C. Nosotros no queremos aportarle 1 millón de euros a una compañía. Lo que queremos es, estas startups lo que necesitan es un cliente de 1 millón de euros. Nosotros, aparte de poner el dinero, lo que vamos a hacer es poner el cliente, que es lo que muchas de estas compañías necesitan. Muchas gracias.
Well, good morning to all of you. Thanks for coming today. And my name is Jorge del Valle. I come from Certus, a legal firm based in Malaga. And today I am representing one of our clients, which is called Isaiah. It's an investment group from Canada, from Montreal. And they had 3 different lines: a line of consultancy, a line of IT, and a line of fund investment. So they try to cover all the needs of startups to help them to scale up. They have a presence in United States, Canada, and Mexico, and now, with our help, they are also located in Malaga. So you are welcome. If you need something, just come to me and we will speak. Okay, bye. Thanks.
Okay, so I think we finished with this section, right? Do we need? There is still an investor that want to present. I think we are all. No. There are others only also online, but we wanted to give some privilege to the persons who travel, who take their train and travels and planes. So come here. So you are those who presented today the fund you belong to. So now we are very good on time. So maybe I will not be very strict on the timing for the pitches, but yes, we still need to stay on 6 minutes. So I will be there in the first row. Say, okay, you have 30 seconds. Okay, I will shake my hand when you have 30 seconds. So now the idea is the big moment. So the 8 of the 10 companies that have been selected in the Scale-Up program will pitch now, and I'm sure you are going to do it very well. Sure, I'm convinced. We did a dry run last week. It was a really interesting project, and also the feedback from the experts. I want to say thanks to Mathieu, but also to Joe Haslam from IE and Jerónimo Bejar. He told me that he will come a bit later. So now it's turned to the. So we are going to maintain the program in the agenda in the website. So first Planify, then DuPonte, then Hello Auto, then Graphstone, Metrica 6, Noruco, and Nosolo Software Network, and then Plitex. Yes, so when a company is pitching, so for example, now the next one is DuPonte, so be prepared with the Diadema. And so on. And when they come there, so you, Manuel, for Hello Auto, and so on. So be prepared, because the investors and stakeholders will vote at the end of the pitch with a QR code that you have. You will vote the best scale-up. Unfortunately, we don't have 1 million euros to give as a prize. It's only a small is of a price of metraquilato. I don't know how to say it in English. And a picture and the joy to have the win today, but it's nothing now, and maybe a reference in the in la nota de prensa, only that. But yes, it's to be more dynamic event and more excited. I think it's a good thing. But for the vote, so it's only the companies can't vote. Huh? You should not have the QR code. So it's the other. Okay, so I shut up now and I give the floor to Planify. So you have 6 minutes. And here you have the things to pass the slides, and good luck. Sure.
Thank you. I have this printed in my work when I work. Okay, so it gives me inspiration. The future is already here. It's just not very heavily distributed. Okay, so I think that this quote is quite impressive. 1999, just another middleman. One of the most prestigious newspaper, magazines, Amazon, just nothing. It's going to be a bomb. It was with the internet, the same. Who is going to have internet on their home? It's now with the blockchain. It's the same guys, always say the same. It's not going to go anywhere. It's always the same. A bomb. A bomb, but in the good direction. So what is this present that we see? We see that the future that we see that is already here is that we are going to have smaller companies. We are going to a future where big companies are not going to be as important as they are today. Amazon, when it started selling books in order to close the cycle, okay, to know how to be the best selling books in order to sell everything, everywhere. And now, small companies and selling in their platform. Uber, Airbnb, Cabify, but that is the tip of the iceberg, okay? Because once you have the technology, okay, why do we need big companies? Because at the end, a big company is like thousands of small companies. If I have the technology to organize these small companies without the big company, I don't need the big company, okay? So it doesn't make sense to have big companies if you have the technology. That's our purpose, okay? Like he said. So this is our main criteria, okay, that we are following. We want to be large and international, thinking big. We want to be a platform around the globe in order to organize everything. That's our main goal, okay? But we have to start small, like Amazon, selling books. We are selling books. We are starting, planifying, and organizing inside a big company, selling books. If we are able to organize a big company, the next step is to go to large and to do it without the company. We want that the process to be automated, okay, with planning with AI. And we are learning fast. We are applying our model to every new user cases. The legacy system, we have started with serving companies because it is where we see that there are more service companies. Every worker is like a small company. It's like I said, a service company is like thousands of companies in one company. They have the located teams. No, they don't have time to analyze, and they are blind management, okay? And they are having a lot of cost.
So imagine an application that is the one that we have developed when a job arrives or a project to a service company, and the human resource arrives to the application and say, okay, I want to do this job, and automatically planning this job sends messages to the application of the workers, and the workers know what to have to do, and they do the job. Imagine that. That's what we have done, okay, in the service industry. But this is start small. We want to go ahead and to apply this model to everything. Right now, we have 3 clients in Spain with 10 in deals, one client in Mexico, and we have done more than 20,000 registrations, okay, every day. Our market, when we think that we can go to the short term, the sum, Mexico and Spain, a big market. The world is amazing. It's the large, our goal, but we have to focus in where we think we have the competitive. This is how our clients see us, not how we see ourselves, okay? It's what our clients see us, and they put us there with the competition, okay, that we are facing. Our business model, quick implementation, zero initial investment, and cost per user, 4 to 8 euros. That is the quantity that we are looking. We have 40% completed. We want to focus on marketing and selling with this goal of at the end of 2020 and 22. You cannot come back to 99 and invest on Amazon, but you can invest on Planify today. Okay? Thank you very much.
Sorry. Yes, sorry. Come back. Yes, it's 6 minutes presentation and a couple of minutes or 4 minutes of questions. So, okay. Sorry, I forget that. So, if you have any question from anyone, from investors or whatever, please go ahead.
The companies that are using Planify, they have substituted another system and put it in place, or this is completely new?
Usually SSCSS, Excel. They used to work with Excel. Imagine that.
And you need to do some integrations. I saw that the initial investment is €0, but for you have to do integrations with...
Yes, we have to do integration. The cost would be different, but we usually have all the connectors prepared in order to, the more common connectors.
But you can start in a company without doing any integration?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So, we have a micro, so yeah. Yes, to Hector.
2 quick questions. First, how many are you in the team, and what's your academic background?
5 right now. I'm an economist, but I have to learn programming because I come from the financial sector, okay? So from the hedge fund, all this kind of thing. Programming, trading, AI bots, okay, that train automatically, all this kind of thing. I used to have the 2 IT guys that I used to tell them what to do. It was quite difficult, the communication, okay? So I decided to, I told to them, okay, should I learn programming? No, it's going to be quite difficult, don't learn that, I will do it. 6 months later, I know how to program, and now I could translate from the idea to the implementation in real time. So I have the knowledge of the business and how to implement that in real time. So I have all the knowledge, okay? Now I have all the knowledge on how to do both.
Any more questions? No? Okay, thank you. Now it's turn of Duponte, Investigación y Desarrollos. I think you are going to pitch too, yeah. Okay, Kalima.
Okay.
Good morning. We are Duponte, a company to improve people's quality life. The founders are Camila, our CDO, and me, Yolima Puente, CEO. We want to work with you because we can to improve people's quality life together. Now I'm gonna live with Camila.
Thank you so much. So good morning, I am Camila Puentes, the CDO of Duponte Group and Science for Powerful Links. So imagine this is a story. So this is Eduardo. Eduardo is a 52-year-old man, farmer since more than 30 years, father of 2, and diagnosticated with arthritis. Treated since the age of 42 with synthetic drugs without response. His doctor prescribed adalimumab, that is a very high-cost biological drug that has no effect on his treatment. And his family had to pay a lot of money for his medication without getting any results. So that's why Eduardo has to retire from his job prematurely. So, as Eduardo, has it happened to you that a drug doesn't have the same effect on you as on someone you know? It could happen. It is amazing to know how to create a model to identify why it happened. It has been reported by scientific articles that the drug's response depends on DNA. So what happened with DNA? For example, in the case of Eduardo, the variability of response of this medication is the 50%. So the whole of the population that have arthritis, for example, doesn't have any effect with the drugs. So what we do nowadays, we create a solution to predict the response to a drug according to a genetic information. So this genetic information is specific for each patient. And we make it through artificial intelligence, and we can call it GenData nowadays. This is our algorithm. So what is our product? Our product is to read and analyze pharmacogenomic data to find the cause of non-response to drug according to DNA of his patient. For whom? For patients, for medical institutions, for competitors, laboratories, and also we work with our competitors as analysts because they doesn't have the capacity to get all the treatments. Now we can explain to you what we are doing with an example. For example, we collaborate with Pfizer and Abbott to design those two types of tests, different tests in which we can prove if people does or not react to those specific pharmaceutic treatments. So we are collaborating also with different medical institutions and insurance groups. As a result of those specific example, we get 2 different tests. Nowadays, we are in process of patent with those specific tests. And we have nowadays also 2 publications you can see at PubMed if you want to read it to get the results of our investigation. How the process works. So, for example, in the case of Eduardo, we have this type of test, adalimumab test. So he received at home the kit and he had to take the sample, a sample with a little bit of saliva. And we received this kit to make a translation of DNA with a high quality equipment, we have it. So after that, we run our algorithm to find our pharmacomatches and to identify if Eduardo can respond to those treatments. And also, we make a report we send by an application or by email. It depends about the customer. We work also with B2B because we have the capacity to receive a large amount of data and to do the same process, to run the algorithm to find pharmaca matches, and we make a biggest report for those clients, the B2B. Our financial projection and funding needs. So we nowadays, at the close of the 2022, we gonna sell 2 million euros. But that's why we need an investment of 3.8 million. It sounds pretty high, but we just need in the first year the 10% of this amount of money because we want to invest in development. So what we want to do with this amount of money? We want to develop a machine learning interface for our Gen Data algorithm. We want an effective marketing for people and scientific community. We want also distribute our tests in community pharmacies around Spain. And also, we want to increase the capacity to analyze other biological drugs in different types of diseases like cancer or HIV. This is our crew. It is a best crew composed by researchers and developers. And this is our investor proposal. We want you to achieve the best health outcomes for patients with high-cost diseases, and we want to invite you to get the 20% of participation, including intellectual property, reduce health costs and government insurance and health organization, and invest 3.8 million during 2 years, recoup the invest in 3 years, and earn 1 million per year starting in the year 5. Okay? With DuPont, Eduardo's story would have been different. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Stay with us. So,
yep.
Any question for Camila? Yes? Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat us in which state you...
Wait for the micro for the people in...
Yeah. I didn't have it.
Hello?
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can listen to you.
Thank you for the presentation. Regarding where you are now, have you validated in terms of revenues the model with the two pharmacos?
Yeah. We already have those tests, and it was a collaboration. We participate on this investigation, and we have the patents of those tests. But nowadays we are working. This is a proof system because we have published 2 articles. So the only way you can publish an article is when you have the reason to publish it.
So one of the idea of the round is to validate the business, the economic.
Yeah, is to identify other types of polymorphism in different diseases, different to arthritis, because we are working nowadays with arthritis and COVID-19, but we want to grow up research with the researching of different diseases.
Regarding on how you sell the product, so for customers, does it suggest other drugs or treatments that are going to work better for patients? And for pharma companies, is it before launching a product into the market, or is it afterwards to test when they working with you?
Sometimes with Pharmaco Enterprise, we work with, it is like something, es algo que se llama revisiones clínicas. And in those revisiones clínicas, we can understand if the pharmaco is working or not for what amount of people. We are working with pharmaco companies in that way. We have another type of customers that is the final client, and with the final client we sell it the test by community pharmacies, and there the people can find the test buy it and make the sample. And we receive all things, and the other process is digital. And with the B2B companies, there are laboratories, our competitors, and also another type of companies. They give us the data to analyze. We read and analyze the data and get a biggest report, and we send it to them. So there are 3 different lines in our business.
And which do you think that is going to be where you're going to be focusing? Because this marketing strategy is quite different.
Yeah. I think it would be for customers, because in that way we can grow up easily. But because have a biggest companies is much difficult. We want to sell to the patients itself.
Thank you. Thank you, Kalima. Thank you.
Camila.
Camille, pardon. I don't know the name exactly, sorry for that. So Manuel, it's your turn. 6 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming here today and talk to us. Let me see. We have a case for you, Matthew, today. So, well, we will discuss today automotive insurance. This is something you probably all have, not because you like it, because it's mandatory. And if you are a good driver or you don't drive much, you are the one who is in a diet on an all-you-can-eat buffet. So you're paying too much. So auto insurance hasn't changed much in the last 20 years. Probably you can recognize that. If you are buying insurance for the last years, you haven't seen any change to the offer the automotive insurance has made to you. Automotive insurance is going to be disrupted. There are 3 trends that are going to make changes to this industry in the coming years. One is pay-per-use. It's a big trend, market trend. Second is personalization, and you can see in Netflix. You pay-per-use, and every time you log, or if you log at different profiles, you will get different movies or proposals. And vehicle data generation, see a big change. Everyday vehicles generate more and more data, and we can use this data to make a better insurance pricing. So trend is already in play. We can see different trends in the industry. You see Lemonade just bought Metromile last week. Tesla is going to insurance using the data from the vehicles. And SoftBank, they put $500 million in a telemetry company last year. So you see a lot of the smart money going to this industry as they see that change coming through very early. Let's talk about now Hello Auto. So, what is Hello Auto? Hello Auto is a technology company. So we have the best-in-class IoT telemetry for vehicles. We are an insurance company, so we can do personalized quotations. We have pay-per-use product, and we provide additional services to our customers. Then we also are a software developer, and we cover all the process. We have developed software to cover all the process, to quote, maintain, and do claims for insurance company. So then what makes us different is the way we do telemetry. We do telemetry to capture data from your vehicles, and most companies will, on telemetry, they will use a small black piece behind your steering wheel. What we are doing is we are putting telemetry in the face of the customer, and we provide additional services. So we have very smart telemetry devices that goes on your vehicle, and they have a camera, so they will record if something goes wrong with your driving, and if you are in an accident, we can recognize if that was your fault or not. We can detect if you're in a crash, so we can send help to you. We can also give you advice as you are driving. We are either doing radar warning, or we are letting you know what is on the road using DGT 3.0 advice. So market size is huge. So Spanish market only is 11 billion euro. European is more than 100 billion, and Europe and US combined is 300 billion euro. It's huge, and it's starting to be disrupted. So we have the team. We build a team from a combination of people from inside, from the insurance industry, from the technology industry, and from market development. So we have a good combination of talent that is helping us to gain that market. Our project is already scaling up, so we have traction, as you can see. This is this year's sales. This is how we are growing right now. What we're planning for coming years is that 2021, we're going to multiply by 10 the sales from last year. We are looking to reach near 550 million euro in 2025, and that get us close to our rocket, as Mathieu was defining. And international expansion will provide additional revenue. Those numbers are only for the Spanish market. So to get that, this is the most important part, is how we distribute, how we sell our insurance product. Right now, we are mainly doing online. We are doing, very important for us is partnerships. We already have agreements with Carrefour, Phone House, Swarovski, Wallapop. This is providing us branding. So we are using those guys, those big retailers, and very well recognized, to put a brand on top of their brand. So they are promoting Hello Auto as an insurance company, insurance proposal offered by Carrefour, Phone House, Swarovski. Then we have comparison website like Rastreator, Check24 is coming from Germany, is coming to Spain this year. Brokers, car dealers, general brokers, and fleets. We also do a small fleets of commercial vehicles where we identify low risk profile of fleets. This is it. So we have a team. We are close to be a rocket. We have all probably you need material for investing. So, and I'm ready for questions now.
Could you explain a bit more your business model? I mean, I understood that you aim to be an insurance company.
We are an insurance company. So we have a license from the DGS. So we are fully permitted insurance company today. So we are kind of vertically integrated. So we have everything. We have IoT. We have hardware. It's developed by us. We have software, and we have the license. So we cover all the vertical.
Who is the paying customer? Who is the paying customer?
The main customer.
The paying customer. Who is that?
We have 10,000 paying customers right now.
So it's the
drivers.
Okay, it's the driver.
So you are a driver, can be our customer. Just go into our helloauto.com and you can buy insurance for your automobile. It's fine.
Any more questions? We are very good on time, so maybe if we go so fast. Okay, great.
Is it okay to ask questions?
Sorry?
Is it okay that I ask questions?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Why are you going for investment if you're looking to 10x next year with 3.5 million? You should be fairly close to profitability with your current stakes.
No, it's acquisition cost. As we are going fast, we need to invest money on acquisition. So it's basically how it goes. Because we get money, as you buy insurance, but as we grow fast, from 10 to 50,000 or more customers, you need to pay for acquisition, and that creates a deficit in capital.
Right, so that 3.5 million projected next year is dependent on you getting investment.
No, it's not. But acceleration or process acceleration is going to depend on investment. So we are two objectives for next year. One is growing faster, and the second is to go international. And then we need to put teams on probably 2 different countries in Europe, and to start late 2022 until 2023. And then we will need additional funds for internationalization.
Okay, all right.
Have you pushed any month the investment on online marketing to actually see which is the acquisition cost at a high volume investment?
We have all the metrics. We have 5 acquisition channels. And Spain is kind of a tricky country because, insurance is distributed by many channels. So there are channels of fixed cost like Rastreator, comparison websites. Then we have a acquisition cost. It's very similar when we go online or social, Google and social is very similar, so we understand range. And then when you do broker, you get a lower early fee, but you pay many years. So over the long term, depending on the churn rate, you get a higher cost over time, a lower I would say intake cost for the customer. So the mix makes sense. As an insurance company, what you need is to have a loss claim ratio. So because your cost is how many accidents your drivers have. So it is not how much is a customer is a customer that provides revenue as long as you have an accident. So so our metrics right now are good for a first-year company, insurance company. So we are very close to best in class for low ratio. So seems that people that goes into a telemetric policy is a good driver. Usually he recognizes that you will let me check your driving if you think you're a good driver. Otherwise, you will say, no, it's not for me. Okay? Because you will in order to give you a lower price, you're a good driver, the other drivers who are riskier, they should have a higher price. So this company is really focused on good drivers. So you are a very risky driver, you won't be our customer. Because you will, at the end of the day, I will see that through our telemetry, and I will raise your price. So, so our model is showing today, based on this almost 10,000 customers we have right now, that we are low. We call it low ratio. We are low claims in our customer base for first year. Then you optimize your portfolio in the second year, so you raise price to the higher risker, and then you get even a lower low ratio. So for second year low ratio, we are right now better than Línea Directa, who's the best in class today. So goals is focus on low risk and make a profit on that.
Did you say how much money you are looking for?
No, I didn't say that.
Please use the micro for the streaming people, okay? For next.
I didn't.
Any more questions? Yes, Cormac. Yes, we have time, so we can do 2 questions.
So to date, have you fundraised, or is this the first time?
No, first time. We are part of a big group, so we manage a group of companies. I'm CEO for a group, and we have another very fast-growing business, who's a gasoline chain, gas station chain. It's called Petroprix, and we grow from 2013 to next year from 0 to 500 million euro revenue. So this is providing funds for new ventures like this one. So we are going to, this is the first time we're going to raise capital, and this is based on accelerating growth in Spain and developing other countries. Probably we are choosing 2 countries for next year.
Thank you. And for customers, after underwriting this policy with you?
Excuse me?
For customers, so for drivers, does it imply making some installation on the car?
No, we do professionally. So we do have a shop where they will do a professional installation for this device.
And it has no cost for the
No,
driver?
it's no cost. It's free for you.
Okay.
It's covered by us.
Great.
Okay,
so
thank you. Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot.
Thanks,
Thanks a
Manuel.
lot.
Many questions? That's good. So now it's turn to Marina from Grafenstone. So welcome us on stage.
Hi, good morning. Well, good morning, everyone. Such a pleasure for me being here presenting you to Grafenstone, Earth's favorite paint. But let's start with some facts, because right now we are eating 5 grams of microplastic every week. This is like eating a credit card of plastic every week of our life. And not only that, these tiny pieces of plastics are polluting everything, and they enter our body in the water we drink and the food we eat. Actually, they found microplastics particles in human placenta with unborn babies, and 9 out of those 12 particles they found came from the plastic paint industry. So this is a huge problem. This is a way that acrylic paints are polluting our environment and our health. But not only that, because they also pollute the air we breathe. Do you remember entering a recently painted room and noticing a strong smell? This smell is actually toxic because paint contains VOCs, chemicals that evaporate and have different health effects that can even get to cancer. So our founder, who was working as a CTO in a conventional paint company, decided he no longer wanted to create products that were harmful for his family and everyone else, right? So he started researching and created Graphenstone technology. In 2013, we launched our first product to market. Graphenstone is leading the paint revolution with products that are healthy for you and healthy for the planet. Combining the natural, amazing properties of natural limestone and the revolutionary technology of graphene, we are able to offer paints that are flexible and durable and washable like the acrylic paints, but without the plastic and the toxic ingredients. Our paints also reduce the energy demand of the buildings and improve the air quality. But what's more, they also have a great value because we are price competitive and they have a higher coverage, meaning you need less liters of paint to do the same paint job. And when we say improve air quality, we really take it seriously because actually painting an apartment with Graphenstone lime-based paints absorbs as much CO2 as an adult tree during a whole year. And not only that, Graphenstone is also certified quality because many different internationally recognized organizations are backing the positive impact and health benefits of using our products. But going further on the investment opportunity here, the green building market is set to represent an investment opportunity of $24 trillion by 2030. This is possible thanks to the increased consumer awareness on climate change and human well-being, but also to the policy changes and regulations that the governments are putting in place to promote this green transition in society. Also, COVID-19 brought new priorities between which the indoor air quality and human wellness, are at the top. So our company history started in 2009 when we started the researching process to get our technology. After 4 years, we launched our first product to market. In 2015, only 2 years later, we were already starting our international expansion with our first client in China. Since then, we have launched to market many different product lines. We have made our products available in some of the biggest retail chain stores in the world, like Leroy Merlin or Sodimac. We have sold our products in 35 countries, and we are currently manufacturing Graphenstone products in 5 factories around the world. We will be finishing this year with a record sales of 4.6 million euros, and with important increase in key markets like the US or Germany. In terms of financial forecast, we expect a constant increase in sales. Actually, Graphenstone is established brand in the market. We have a strong base of loyal customers that love our products already. So we have the customers, coming back to what Mathieu said, we also have the team, but we need a bit of help in terms of the finance because we expect to reach the break-even point by 2022, thanks to the positive learning curve we are experiencing, and also thanks to the better efficiency in our process and the economies of scale that we will experience thanks to the investment. And this is where you would enter in the equation because we're looking for a total investment of 1.5 million euros to invest in automatization of the processes, other operations, and, for example, do research and development of new product lines, and, of course, invest in marketing and sales to increase our market share in key markets like the US, Germany, or Canada. So thank you so much. Be part of the change, be part of Graphenstone. Any question?
So, thank you, Marina. Yes. We're going to. You are
We
like
have-
saving 1 minute per presentation, so that's good. So you.
Yeah, question for you, Marina. What is the price difference from a standard product to your product from the markets?
Well, we're not the cheapest paint in the market, that's for sure. But we are aligned in price with other quality acrylic plastic paints. And of course, we are aligned or sometimes even under the price of other natural paints in the market. For example, in Europe, we would be aligned more or less with cane paints or Caparol. In the US market, we are around price with Benjamin Moore. And of course, as I mentioned, also 1 liter of our paint makes more square feet or square meter than 1 liter of acrylic paint. So actually, it's cheaper.
Congrats for the great presentation. What is the capitalization table of the company?
Is that like the value of the company?
No, the shareholders, because it's not a very new company, so I guess you have a whole history of investors.
Yes, well, our main partners is our founder. We also have a partner company in Madrid, which is FIFOR, and they mainly own the company. And the company is currently valued in 24 million euros.
Any more questions? No? So thank you,
Thank you so
Marina.
much.
So, there was something that was not planned in the agenda, but what do you think if we make a 5-minute pause? Because we just had first 4 presentations, so we are at the marathon meet. Okay, so 5 minutes. Go to the toilet, but don't go to the bar to take coffee because otherwise you don't have enough time to ask for a coffee and go back. So 5 minutes, we are back. And then we are going to have to lunch just afterwards, so be patient, please. Our pitching session with Eduardo Dueñas from Metrica 6. So, welcome.
Thank you. So, thank you, Stefan. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. My name is Eduardo Dueñas. I am the CEO and founder of Metrica 6, and we are the creators of Wisense. Our goal is to delay this forecast from the United Nations, who says that by 2050, water will only reach 60% of global demand, and that's scary. So we create and market Wisense, a set of technological solutions, cyber-physical solutions for water saving in different sectors and consumers. Wisense is formed by a digital tool for managers and users to control a series of IoT devices. And with these IoT devices, if they combine these IoT devices and the software in different ways, in different numbers and types, they can have a customized digital twin of their installation. And with this customized installation, it's also important to remember that they can integrate, or we can integrate this solution with third-party tools like ERPs, databases, Alexa, Google, and many other solutions that are already in the market. Wisense can apply to smart irrigation, hot water recirculation, leak detection, and many other functionalities. Some of them are already in the market, and some of them are still under development. But all of them are integrated within our international patents. So today I want to focus on a solution that we are developing, and that's a solution for monitoring and control water consumption in large consumers. So it can, for example, detect leaks or detect if anyone has breaking into an empty house. So just to give you a dimension of what we are talking about, a typical leak is typically wasting around 117 cubic meters of water. And one person in Spain consumes around 53 cubic meters a year. So that's the dimension water-wise. So this solution targets real estate developers, construction companies, Airbnbs, other holiday rentals, also insurance companies, and other targets within those markets. So how does it work? This solution, which is called Wisense Guard, once you install the device, it will connect to a network, and all the information will be shared with our databases. And if the system detects an anomalous consumption pattern, it will warn the user to act consequently. For example, stopping the water supply. And here's the opportunity. Every time there's a leak, there is a water damage around 2,300 euros. But companies, insurance companies, normally cover just around 900. So in 2018, in Europe, there were over 300,000 claims related to water damage, which resulted in over 270 million of costs for the insurance companies. Our solution, Wisense Guard, the price of our solution is lower than what the customers, final customers, and the insurance companies are normally paying. So with Wisense, they all win. And by saving water, we all win. So we have no competitor, there is no competitor having all the functionalities that a Wisense family offers. However, there are partial competitors that offer individual functionalities, like the hot water recirculation. Customers prefer us because of the possibility of integrating the solution in different environments, the easiness of installation, the efficiency, the price, and many other parameters. Besides, we have also barriers for new competitors, like the patents, know-how, allies, and others. So our business model is a combination of product as a service and traditional. Both of them are necessary because product as a service has higher scalability and higher potential, but the sectors we operate in are still operate in a very traditional way. So that also applies to our go-to-market strategy. We already have licenses, distributors, and prescribers, but we have detected an opportunity in the business model, in the commercialization, regarding the digitalization of the solution. So integrating it into marketplaces, directories, and databases, and other collaborative networks. So we have been focusing on R&D and just selling one Wisense solution in Spain for the past years, and we are now focusing on digitalization of the solution and internationalization. For that, we are finishing also our platform ecosystem, and we are now in this round for €500,000 to complete WisenceGuard technology to be launched to the market in Spain and in other countries in 2022. Also, all the scalability is forecasted afterwards, so be aware that we have already planned for all the potential bottlenecks, etc., that we may have. We will, of course, put some of our resources in this project. And equity-wise, we are valued at 2.5 million euros per money, and we are very flexible with the participation options. We look for allies that also value this kind of criteria. Profitability, of course, sustainability with a measurable impact, less volatility than purely digital companies because of our patents and many others, local industry with a global approach, and also we are very flexible with the exits. This is a quick look to our KPIs for these years. And we are just finishing. We are a team of 17 professionals between engineers, market experts, business developers, and we also come with the expertise from our external investors and strategic advisors from different markets. This team has gathered many national and international awards for its innovation, its economic results, and its environmental impact. The latest one was from the United Nations, who identified Metrica 6 as the best European company for its impact in creating sustainable cities and communities. So finalizing, our mission is to make Wisense, with Wisense is to make smart water management accessible to any kind of consumer and any kind of manager. So with Wisense, you will have the control of your installation with the power of data. Thank you very much. So if you have any questions.
Yes. I go with you. Great, Eduardo. Do you have any question from anybody in the room? Very clear presentation? No.
I think so.
No? Yes, one. Yes, Alex. Thank you.
I understood that there are many use cases, but who are your paying customers or main target?
Our paying customers right now are if you can put the presentation again, please. Well, because after the presentation there were other slides to illustrate my answers. But meanwhile, our paying customers so far since 2018 has been our licensee in Spain, which is an international brand. They are faucet manufacturers, but we have a license agreement over our patents for them in Spain. So we have monetized it by our margins for manufacturing and selling, and also with royalties. The final customers of those are typically real estate developers and maybe final users, but typical real estate developers. That's the solution we have for hot water recirculation, which is, to avoid the typical wastage of cold water that you normally have every time you have to use hot water and have to wait for it. But we do it in an innovative way, because you don't have to have a secondary return pipe, you don't have to make any jobs in the walls if you don't want to, you don't have to have another tank, etc. So those are the paying customers we have so far, and this is the validated business model that we want to take abroad. But also we want to expand not only internationally with the business model and the product that has already been validated, but also with new technologies that are in the same value proposition and are inside our patents. That's why we are focusing now in the creation of this other solution for large consumers for the monitoring and detection of anomalous consumption patterns. But it will integrate in our same catalog, because the customers we already have can also purchase this new service and this new product. So that's how we also increase our value proposition market-wise with new products within our patents, but for the same channels and for the same kind of customers. So that's the idea. presentation.
Does your solution work only for, let's say, very specific installations such as buildings or plants, or also for larger networks, such as, for instance, for Canal de Isabel II?
Yeah, our solution is focused on final customers, but different type of final customers, meaning house, of course, gyms, hotels, water industries, etc. So that's our focus as a product. But as a technology, we can use this technology in a broader sense in smart city projects or for water suppliers, etc. So the technology is there. Part of the technology is also inside of our patents. But what we have been focusing on is on the part for the final customers, because it's where we found that there is a bigger niche. But it can be applied in other environments.
Okay, so I think there's no more questions.
Okay.
Thanks, Eduardo.
Thank you.
Now it's turn from Pablo from Noruco. Please come to the stage.
Hello. During the pandemic, everyone learned many things, but one was clear: the healthcare system must work. That's the reason because we are here today. Because we need to say something that in the minimal invasive surgery there is a basic element that without it we can operate that's damaged very, very time. So the problem is that because it's damaged, and we know it because sometimes people don't know it. We know it because we solved this problem. We solved the problem that it's dispositive damage very time, because Noruco have been doing this during the last 12 years. We already have this market, like it's quite big. In global numbers, this market has 3.7 thousand millions of euros, but focusing in Europe and Spain, that is our market for the moment. In Europe, we have already more or less 11,000 hospitals, and also a market of 600 million euros. More focusing in Spain, that we are here. In Spain, there is more or less 800 hospitals. So with that numbers, our calculation is only in sales, that later I will explain why only in sales. We have a sum of 3 million euros. Also, there are like more, we have a potential customer also in 25 countries that we already have contact with them. So what we want to give to our clients, 2 different lines. First is sale of compatible products with the main final factors. It's not only optics, there's also all the products that is in the endoscope tower, and also we have already do the technical service of any model of rigid endoscope optics. That's the reason, because we already have contact and we already work with these clients. For example, we have many contracts with Andalusian Medical Service. Also, we work really hard with Quirónsalud, is the biggest hospitalary service in Spain, private. And also we have worked with maintenance, hospitalary maintenance companies like Ferrovial or Drager or many others. And they are who say us that they need our help, because now there is not a company that gives all the full service. There is only company that sell, or there is only company that give the service. So forgive them this demand that we already have, that we don't have the financial economy muscle. Now we need 1 million euros. And with this 1 million euros, we will, with our estimate of market, we will be able to make 25 million euros of profit in the next 5 years, because we already have the demand. The problem is that we haven't got this economic muscle. So what we are going to do with these €1,000,000, we are going to divide in 3 big groups. One is to buy material costs because we need to have enough stock to be able to compete with the biggest multinational like Olympus. And this is the reason because we need this stock. Also, we will contract more staff because if we won't have to get a level of production, we will need qualified staff. And also, another point is the indirect cost. What we are going to do with indirect cost, we will make a new marketing planet, sorry. We also, we need to make the production plant to be able to have all these production. Who is going to do this? This group is going to do this. We have working in this market in the last 12 years. They are really qualified people that know all the needs on the market because they are hand by hand with the clients, and the clients say us, we need this, and we do this, and that's the reason because now we have already have the service technical line, but also they say we need a full service, and this is why we need Noruco to have all the foods because they need to personalize and choose what they need in every moment, and that's the reason also because they want us because we can give products in compatible with all the products that is now in the market. Also, this project started in 2010 with the first technical endoscope. Later, this project that now we are presenting started in 2016 with the endoscope manufacturing factory, and now we are in a new line, in a new history, because we are trying to do a restructuring business to be able to help our customers and make that the healthcare system works really well. That's all. Thank you.
So, any question for Paulo? Maybe later during the meetings. So I remember that after the sessions we got the lunch, and then we got the B2B meetings between investors and the company. So we are going to prepare the agenda during the. I will explain it later. So any question? No. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now it's turn from Mauricio Paul from No Solo Software. So please come on stage.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm here to present No Solo Software. It's a young, let's say, a young company that was born there in the outlaw of software libre, something like open software classroom in the University of Cordoba. And it was created by a small group of engineers who wanted to innovate not only using new technologies, but also changing processes, the heart and the culture of the companies. So during this year, we have been out with these prices, and if I have to answer what we do, the short answer is we build software product for our clients and always oriented to the market. And for a longer answer, please stay tuned. We used to call ourselves a venture studio. A venture studio is a place where businesses, our clients, came and give us their needs, their needs for addressing a business. And what we do is helping them by building all their digital asset strategy, going from scratch to a final product in just 3 to 5 months. We are talking about a final product, not a prototype. All of this is done with the state-of-the-art technology and following workflows and metrics that help us to deliver all our products with high standard of quality. And since we cover all the entire life cycle of the product, we help them to save money and time. Here we have also some metrics from our clients that back us our work. Sorry. And even when 1,000 of active users may look a small number, we have to consider that most of our work are B2B platforms. Here we have a couple of names for showing you what we used to do. First we have Mobily, which is used there in Chile. It's not famous here in Spain, but we hope it is there in Chile, at least for the 2 cities where it is serving, and it's helping to manage all the public transportation system for these 2 cities, Villarrica and Temuco. On the other hand, we have EasyRed, which is a totally different tool and a totally different sector. In their own words, they are the first public default file for combating the defaults and accelerate the recovery of the debts coming from overdue debtors. There is a good number, that 90% that which backs the job we do together with our clients, because according to Gartner, this number is reduced to only 40% in the industry. We also cover some other services. Here we have some clients which we have been working for these 10 years of existence. As you can see, we cover different sectors, from fintech to legal tech, going through sports, security, agrotech, industry, and we are planning to expand to military field the coming years. There was a day when we decided to put all our expertise to work for us. So we started to build products, not for third parties, but for not solo software, for the group. And this is 3 out of the 4 we have already. And we started this adventure just before the pandemic started, but the market responded very well, even in these conditions. Yeah, let me just point Isotope, which is a task mining tool for helping large banks and financial institutions who rely on legacy systems to gather all the information coming from their core infrastructure, but they don't manage to collect good data. So Isotope, what it's doing is collecting all this data coming from both legacy and modern software and presenting in a more friendly way for process mining tools. We are moving in a sector that is increasing daily, and we experience it on our own. So we see digital transformations on every aspect of our life. 30 seconds. Yeah. And who is behind this team? We have people from different backgrounds helping to build and split in attack units, let's say, for approaching all the projects. The numbers, as we can see here, they are increasing. There in the 2020, it wasn't as expected, but we saw a recovery in the current year. We're expecting to multiply by 4.5 the EBITDA in 3 years, and the current money, pre-money evaluation of the company is for 3 million. We need a little push, a financial push in this case, yeah? And we are going to use it to keep growing our products because we see that we have a huge opportunity there, and reinforce all the sales in the company, and also using for the cross operations in the studio. This is Nosotros Software. I'm Mauricio. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mauricio. Any question? No, you start to be a bit tired, maybe? Yeah, please.
Can you explain a bit more on your business model? So you create pilots, in some cases you develop the products. How do you charge to your paying customers?
How do we, sorry?
So on the business model, is it a software as a service? Is it a consultancy? What you do for your customers?
Yeah, exactly. We build all the digital, including the software, and then we help them to marketize everything. And basically is that we also sometimes we participate in these ventures, yeah, exactly. And then thanks to all this expertise was when we decide to launch our products. So we have these two income streams, let's say.
Any more questions? No? Oh, so thank you, Mauricio. So it is our... Now it's Morten from our last presenter today, before voting. So Morten from Plitix. Welcome, stage.
Hi, hear me all right? Bear with me for 6 minutes, and then there'll be lunch, right?
Yeah, voting and lunch.
All right, cool. Bear with me for 10 minutes then. Cool. Let's talk about e-commerce. 10 years ago, I started my career in Google, and back then, let's be honest, e-commerce was quite simple. All you needed was a web store, and then an AdWords account, and then you would drive traffic from your AdWords account to your web store, and hopefully some of that traffic would convert into sales and happy days. It was a single point of sale system called e-commerce. However, that is not how e-commerce is done today. Now e-commerce is about pushing your products to where your customers are. And your customers are now shopping on Amazon or Walmart, these so-called marketplaces. Or they're doing some comparison shopping on Google Shopping or Facebook catalogs, where you go and compare prices. Whatever it is, we have moved away from being a single point of sale to what we now call multi-channel commerce. The problem with multi-channel commerce is brands now have to manage product listings across an ever-growing number of channels. And each of these channels works differently in terms of how they want to receive product information. But it gets even more complicated when we talk about ranking. We used to make this joke all the time, that the best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 on Google. And that's exactly the same for marketplaces. If your products do not rank, you do not sell. 97% of all sales on Amazon happens not only on page 1, but above the fold. That means that it happens before people start scrolling. That's 97%. So one could argue that ranking is pretty important. And again, each channel, each marketplace, each comparison shopping engine works differently in terms of ranking. Your job as a marketeer is not only to manage 10,000 products, It's also to manage 10,000 products across 19 different channels that works differently in terms of ranking and how to send basic product information. Long story short, managing product information is becoming a shit show. But there's also some opportunities. Because you're probably familiar with the concept of SEO. It's basically just optimizing your articles on Google so you get on top of the page. Whereas SEO is very competitive because there's one search engine you have to compete on. With a multi-channel commerce setup, we have multiple different marketplaces that all works like a search engine, which means that you don't have to compete on one, playing field. You can choose your niche little marketplace and be the category leader on that one, and with that, there's a lot of opportunity for sales. Just like we call it SEO for Google, we call this PLO, which is short for Product Listing Optimization. And it's still very early stage these days for product listing optimizations. But these companies, these progressive brands that master multi-channel commerce and product listing optimizations, they are reaping the benefits. The best way to do multi-channel commerce, and what a lot of progressive brands are doing today, is that they are decoupling product information management from the storefront. So instead of having your team all accessing Amazon and all accessing your Shopify store, now they decouple it so they have all the product information in a centralized source of truth where the entire team can work collaboratively in a non-live environment. And then from there push the information to the different sales channels. Such system is called a PIM, short for Product Information Management. And if you look at the PIM market today, as always, the big enterprise clients have already discovered this and they already have their PIMs. And we already at almost 100% product adoption if you look at the enterprise. But the SMBs, as always, are late to the party. If you look at the SMBs alone, we are only at 6%. But with the world going towards multi-channel commerce, that is about to change. And we believe that within the next coming years, the product adoption from SMBs are going from 6% to 100%. The problem is we don't know how long that will take. It could take 8 years, it could take 3 years. What we do know, though, is when these SMBs are going to pick their PIM, when they're going to drop those spreadsheets and those Dropbox to implement their first PIM, these are the things they're going to look for. They want a system that is easy to use, fairly priced, well-connected, and offers great customer support, which is exactly the areas that we want to win on. Plytix is the SMB-friendly PIM built and designed for multi-channel commerce. It's a collaboration tool for your entire team, your entire organization to collaborate on product content so you can optimize it so that it gets the maximum exposure, maximum ranking on each of your marketplaces. And our strategy is quite simple. We want to win the hearts of the SMBs by making it user-friendly and cost-effective. If you look at the market as such, we're not the first PIM on the market. PIM has been around forever, but they were designed at a time where PIM was the sole purview of big hyperscale companies that have 20,000 employees scattered around the world who needed a central source of truth. Now with multi-channel commerce, everybody needs a PIM, and this is where Plytix comes in. We offer the PIM-friendly solution, alternative, and this is why, while the enterprise segment is fairly crowded in terms of competitors, we own the SMB market. If you look at where we are today, we are roughly around 2.6 million ARR, growing 126% with more than 100% in net retention rate. What's impressive about that is we don't do any direct sales. All of this comes from inbound, where we're averaging more than 200 marketing qualified leads per month, which means that more than 200 new SMBs are signing up for our platform each month. Our balance is quite simple, quite healthy as well. As of now, we have line of sight of profitability, and the market is quite, and the demand is there. We're raising 10 to 15 million in a Series A. We're looking for a multiple north of 10x on our ARR, and we're looking to raise that money when we hit the 3 to 4 million ARR mark early next year. Any questions? Thank you. Don't be shy. No? Lovely.
So we're coming to the end of the journey. Thank you to all the presenters. It has been a great pitch session, really. Now it's turn from the voting, okay? So I think that any of the investors and stakeholders, sorry, have this piece of paper to vote. It's a Google form. It's not rocket science. And well, the others should not be voting. I'm seeing you. So we leave 1 minute, and then I will announce the best Scale-Out Award that will be given by the General Secretary of the Confederation of Employers and Industries of Andalusia. So let's. I will stay with no. I will no vote. Okay. An investor or shareholder stakeholder that don't have the QR? No? Okay. Do you still need more time, or it's finished? Finished? Okay, so let's wait 1 minute from the people just behind us that are working on showing the result here. So when they are ready, they will make me a signal, and we can announce the result. I don't know if in streaming there is like music, like dun, 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 dun. Here not. Sorry for that. Okay. As we are waiting for the results, so in the meantime, the investors, you have a sheet of paper with then you have to fill before going to lunch in order of preference to which companies you want to meet after lunch. Okay, so give it to me or to the guy at the registration desk. So during lunch, we will prepare the agenda after lunch, and the B2B meetings will be held in the 4th floor, in the Sala Panoramica, in the 4th floor, and there will be 30 minutes meetings, okay, until 5 o'clock. So I think you will have time to meet all the companies you want. Oh, it's okay. So I call Luis. ¿Puede venir para? So we will announce the. Okay, so we're waiting for the slide. a salir el resultado y luego el nombre en principio. Oh, Graphenstone, great. And here are the results of the voting process. Okay, so yes, please put the slide with the Graphenstone, please, for the picture. So we are finished. I hope that we finish a bit earlier. The lunch is already, I think, yes. And so it's quarter past 1. So we are going to have lunch in 1 hour. So we're going to start B2B earlier, so we can finish today earlier also. So at quarter to 2, we go quarter past 2, we are going upstairs, okay? So thank you, and let's continue our work. Bye-bye.